everyone, and thank you for joining me again on this 2-week roundup, where if you're a regular viewer of the channel you'll know we have a look back at the last 2 weeks, see what games we reviewed and try and put them in some sort of order. We're gradually going around the world on this trip to create a bit of interest. The first time we was in Egypt, then we moved to Iceland, then we went to good old France last time, and this time round, well, we're in Kenya. You can't think of Kenya without thinking about the Masai Mara, one of the many national parks in Kenya, and indeed we are there. So we're going to have a look at a few things in Kenya. Based in East Africa, its coastline faces the Indian Ocean. Well done, I really know that well. Population 44.5 million, I don't know all their names, and the main language is Swahili and English. Now the Masai Mara, that was established in 1961, but there are a lot of national parks in Kenya, which I'm sure you'll know anyway. So yeah, let's do the 2-week roundup then.
3, 2, 1, go!
But before we do, of course, we'll look at the 2 pinball tables we've looked at this time round as we go through Season 2 of the Pinball Arcade by Farsight Studios. This time it was 2 tables from Table Pack 6, and the first one being Flight 2000, which is a space-age table based on Stern's one from 1980. It's quite basic, it's for the main dot matrix revolution of the pinball tables, which had lots and lots of speech, but I don't mind it. It's a classic really. You've got an interesting multi-ball feature down the left hand side where you have to lock a few balls there in a sort of like an odd sort of like tunnel structure. Once you've got 3 and click on something else, it will release the multi-ball. So quite an interesting table there for historians looking back. And the other one, which is a very, very weird table, I think it was just had a production run initially of 10, was never actually released as an official table and used for engineering projects. Both of these tables we looked at were wide body tables, but this was based on the one by Gottlieb from 1983, and instead of having 3 set balls, it's based on time. Yeah, going nuts. The subject matter seems to be squirrels burying nuts, but essentially you must hit drop targets to gain extra time. When you run out of time, well, the ball's just drained anyway and it's game over. Very, 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 very weird. Yes. So now let's come to the meat of the video, the top 6. Now I didn't mention it when we was looking at the pinball tables, but that last location we were at were the ruins of Gedi. Apparently there was a civilization there at some point, but they moved before I got there. I think someone must have blabbed. So what have we had in 6th place this time round? Well, it's been a good 2 weeks of games here, so it's very hard to actually rate them once again, because what's 6 could quite easily have been 2nd or 3rd another day, so I just have to go on my personal opinions because that's all I've got. So in 6th place on the Commodore Amiga was the New Zealand Story. Now this is quite a popular game on the Commodore Amiga because it would have come, I think it came with the original Batman pack, which was one of the release packs with the Commodore Amiga. So a lot of people would have had warm memories about this one, so my humblest apologies. But it's a platform game over multiple levels. You control a Kiwi and you must rescue his girlfriend Fifi. Yeah, and also as well he must rescue various of his friends that are trapped in cages. That bit looks a bit like Angry Birds, which come to years later. But this is in 1989 by Ocean. I think the Batman game was by Ocean as well, so I can see where the connection is there. But not one of my favourite ones, but it's been well put together. I think it's ever so slightly overrated there, but as I say, a lot of people disagree and might have this in their top 10 Amiga games of all time. So there we go. And in 5th place, another quite a controversial one, Well, maybe not for some people. It was Boulder Dash, published by Front Runner in 1984. I think it might be based on an arcade game, this one. But basically you control this odd gentleman that wanders around the screen, or a maze, trying to collect all the diamonds on the screen, or at least a high percentage of them. When he moves under the boulder, which hopefully the game footage shows, the boulder will fall down. So you have to plot your path, because it's quite easy to get crushed. If you get crushed, you die, and you have to start all the way from the start again. Now, I'm not quite sure how this looks on other systems, but the Spectrum has quite garish colours, and when it animates across, sometimes you've got to wait for the screen to catch up, because it seems to be redrawing it the whole time. But one would have to say this is a classic game when you look historically at game development. 1984, as I said, so quite an early one, generally from my favourite era of games. But if I had this back at the actual time, I probably wouldn't have played it that much. Has a number of sequels which we might come to in following weeks, but I've been told they look roughly similar, so that'll be interesting to see. Graphics are okay Spectrum wise, sound is minimal, it's just okay. And in fourth place we have, well, it's a bit of an Asteroids clone, this one. It is Stardust. Yes, by Bloodhouse in 1989. It's a modern day at the time, retake of Asteroids, in that you control a ship in the centre of the screen, although you can move it about really, with various multicoloured backgrounds. Shoot all the asteroids, shoot any of the aliens that come across. There's about 6 levels each in 4 different worlds, and when you completed all the levels of each world, you have a rather marvellous mini game, which is essentially you going through a tunnel. Looks very Star Wars, that bit that you're in. It looks like you're in an X-Wing, and it is a bit of a rip-off of Star Wars, because there is a title crawl at the start that looks much like the start of any Star Wars film. It starts episode 1 and continues. There is an AGA version on the Amiga 1200. I think that might be called Super Stardust perhaps. But yeah, it's okay, it holds together well. It's not spectacular, but it's a pretty good game. I hope you're enjoying the scenery behind me. This is also in Kenya, as all these places are. This is Lake Nakuru. Yes, do you know it? Probably not. I think it's a bit off the beaten track, but if you're going to make a list of the places to visit in Kenya, I would go here. It's very picturesque, I should say. So I might do a bit of chilling for a little bit. This is probably the best place to chill, I reckon, in the whole of Kenya. It's Nyali Beach, a lovely beach covered in white sand and protected by a coral reef. Lovely. There's lots of safari here as well in Kenya, various different animals, which you might have seen in those cut videos. That was a Game Boy Advance game called Motor Racer Advance, I think. Motor Racer Advance, that was it. But anyway, let's get to the main thing, the top 3. Just recapping, so far we've had 6th place, the New Zealand Story on the Amiga. 5th place, Boulder Dash on the ZX Spectrum, and 4th place, Stardust on the Amiga as well. Brilliant stuff. So in 3rd place we have, it's a Game Boy Advance game, it's a racing game, it's Colin McRae Rally 2 by Ubisoft in 2002. Now all these games, you have to bear in mind that they are on a handheld, although it is 32-bit technology. This is a really good game, this one, over multiple stages. The car handles really well. There's no cockpit view that I can make out, but that might be different. So I prefer, out of comparing rally games like for like, although this is good, I prefer V-Rally 3, and if I had a choice of just either one of those, I would definitely take V-Rally 3. But Colin McRae 2, such an iconic game there, and Ubisoft done really well. Lots of hours of gameplay on this one. As you'd expect, the car can take damage and you must repair it between each race. Multiple levels of difficulty, and also as well, those people that don't like rallying that much, I don't know why you buy this game if you didn't. There's also it's like an arcade version. or arcade mode I should say, we can race against 3 other computer cars over an enclosed track or circuit. So yeah, well worth getting hold of. I haven't played Colin McRae 1 as of yet, so I might try and get hold of that to see how that plays. But yeah, I would recommend that one, Colin McRae Rally 2. Now it starts getting competitive because all these games are good. In second place on the ZX Spectrum, it's EXOLON, if I'm pronouncing that right, by Hewson Consultants, published in 1987. Colin McRae before that, if I didn't mention it, was 2002. Might have done, so I'm just repeating myself. But EXOLON in 1987, wonderful, wonderful graphics on this one. There's also a similar game, Cybernoid and Cybernoid 2, which hopefully we'll come to at some stage. But I reviewed this via a recommendation. It's really, really good. Coded well, you control a spaceman in this 2D horizontal scroller. It's screen based, there's over 100 screens, but essentially you must fire missiles to destroy obstacles, normally missile turrets, and lasers or firepower to destroy aliens, and just basically get off each screen. There's teleports as well, which take you to the bottom or the upper levels, but it's probably better to watch it than me explaining it. But a really good colourful game, coded really well, holds together really well. I played it with a cheat mode on, yes I know, just so I can get a bit further than you normally would expect, because I wanted to show you quite a lot of this really cracking game. Scenery isn't moving much, is it? But we are coming live from Kenya, honest. So what's in first place then after all of that? Well, it's a game, it's a bit of an unfair competition this time, because it's a game on the PlayStation 3 that pretty much blew everything away. It was versus Colin McRae 2 in terms of rallying games. This is pretty much in the like, although this is more street circuit in a mixture. It was Grid on the PlayStation 3. Published by Codemasters in 2008, so it's the latest of all these games. But when I put these in an order, I do take into account the year they come out and what the capability of the different machines as well. But even taking that into account, this one comes well top. Brilliant graphics, brilliant sound, and a nice gentle learning curve to get you into it. I started off on beginner mode because I always do. Why jump into professional? And then during the review it told me to go up to normal, and if I played it again I'd go up when it changed me to go to professional. But essentially you start off, the idea is you must create your own team eventually, and hire a second driver also to compete in races around the world and different championships. But I just did the initial bit in this review where you've got to try and get 40,000 by racing for other teams and getting appearance money, so then you can then pay for your team. So check that one out. I really enjoyed that quite a lot, and it's one that I might go back to. We might even do a part 2 on it. Let me know what you think. So that's great. So the top 3 this week, this 2-week section that we looked at. Third place was Colin McRae Rally 2 on the Game Boy Advance. Second place was EXOLON on the ZX Spectrum 48K. And first was Grid, the fantastic Grid on the PlayStation 3. Yes, I hope you like seeing the games this 2-week roundup. I am grateful to the people that watched all of them and commented on all of them, but if you just managed to watch one of them or just a few, that's good as well. Sometimes it's commented that I put up too many and it's impossible to watch them all. Well, you know, you don't have to watch them all. They're not going anywhere. If you want to watch one now and one later on or so forth, that's fine by me. Just watch what you want to watch, but watch them all really. Anyway, so that's goodbye now from Kenya, capital Nairobi, remember. Other important cities are Mombasa, I guess. So, yep, until next time, keep watching. Until next time, take care and goodbye.
Goodbye.